I'm Tom Llamas, live in Sarasota, Florida tonight in the path of Hurricane Milton. This monster and historic storm is set to make landfall in just hours. Our team is spread across the state of Florida, covering every angle, including the approaching hurricane and now the threat of tornadoes.
This is a special edition of Top Story, Hurricane Milton. Live from the storm zone, here's Tom Llamas.
Hey, good evening. We are live tonight from Sarasota in a very safe zone as Hurricane Milton rapidly approaches, already bearing down on Florida's west coast. At this hour, we are nearing a potentially historic landfall. This extremely dangerous and catastrophic storm could be one of the worst hurricanes ever on record for this area. Right now, conditions are rapidly deteriorating as the outer bands continue to push onshore. And here in Sarasota, the city is bracing for potential disaster and likely some of the worst storm surge it's ever seen. You may be able to hear the wind blowing now. We are approaching hurricane-force wind gusts. This is a life-threatening situation unfolding. The National Weather Service saying now the time to stay in place, you have to stay in place if you didn't get out. We want to take a live look right now at St. Pete, where torrential rain and intense winds are slamming that area. We also want to take a live look where Milton is right now, the storm quickly charging towards the coast, roughly 30 miles out from where we are in Sarasota. The hurricane will make landfall as a major hurricane, and its wind field has nearly doubled in size since just 24 hours ago. That means more people will feel its dangerous impacts. We also want to take a look at the latest hurricane forecast cone. The storm expected to make landfall near or just south of the Tampa Bay area. A nightmare scenario, as this could be one of the worst storms that city faces in more than a century. Milton will maintain its hurricane strength as it charges across the state. And as we mentioned, one of the biggest concerns is the potentially deadly storm surge. You can see here what that looks like. Areas like Sarasota, Clearwater, and Tampa could see up to 15 feet of water, easily topping a single-story home. The storm also unleashing destructive winds, dangerous flash floods, widespread power outages, and spawning powerful tornadoes. A massive tornado outbreak still underway at this hour. While we thought the West Coast would bear the brunt, parts of the East Coast are seeing terrifying twisters. This video from Fort Pierce, Florida, just north of Port St. Lucie, and shocking video from Wellington near Palm Beach, a large and destructive tornado lifting debris into the air. We have seen numerous tornadoes charging across highways and neighborhoods all across southern Florida. The National Weather Service in Miami and Tampa breaking records for the most tornado warnings in a single day. Surveillance camera video in Fort Myers capturing the moment a tornado, look at this, ripped through a front yard. It's a nightmare scenario, and officials are not mincing words about how serious the situation is right now.
It's looking like the storm of the century.
This hurricane is going to pack a major, major punch and do an awful lot of damage.
With a hurricane, it's not just storm surge, it is the wind, it is the tornadic activity.
We've never had one like this. I've been here for 38 years and never had one that forced us to do this.
This is a different time than any other hurricane I've been through here. It's devastating.
Right now, curfews are in place. Highways and bridges are completely shut down. Officials say no one should be on the roads. Earlier, Florida Highway Patrol posting this video, rescuing a dog. Look at this. The dog was tied up and left on the side of a highway in the water. That dog now receiving care. Look at that. They were able to rescue him. Florida's governor saying this is the largest National Guard mobilization in state history. First responders preparing to move on once it's safe to do so. Our teams are spread out tonight all across Florida. Meteorologist Bill Cairns is standing by, tracking it all. Bill, talk to us about what's the latest. We are hearing the conditions, and we are feeling the conditions get worse here in Sarasota.
Yeah, well, Tom, let me just start with where you are and show you where the eye is. So here is Sarasota, and you could clearly see where the eye of Milton is, only about 30 miles off the coast. In the next 2 hours, Tom, you will enter into the eye in the center of the storm, as it should come right over the top of you. Landfall roughly sometime, 8:30ish to 9:30, right towards the end of the 9 o'clock hour. So to the north, I feel very confident now with this storm, the motion it's taking, Tampa's not getting the direct hit. We are not seeing that storm surge that will be historic in the Tampa Bay. The storm surge will likely end up higher with Helene in Tampa Bay than it will be for Milton. So for anyone in the interest in the Tampa Bay area that has evacuated, worried about your home, your property, likely the worst of it's going to be south of landfall, and your property will not be any worse than what you had with Helene. So hopefully that can be a little self-assurance. Unfortunately, it is pouring, it is windy, power is going to go out, and we could have freshwater flooding, but not the surge. Sarasota southwards, Venice, all the way down to Inglewood, Rotunda, and then to Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda, and Fort Myers. That's where the storm surge is now coming in, and it's coming in quickly. I've seen pictures from Fort Myers Beach. If you're familiar with it, where Margaritaville is there, the areas that were just destroyed by Ian, water's now in the buildings once again. Buildings that were refurnished, from 2 years ago from that horrible destruction. So here's Sarasota, here's the coast, there's the eye, roughly about 30 miles away. The strongest winds will actually be with these heavy bands of rain north of the center. Some dry air is worked in. That's why we're not going to get a lot of heavy rain south of the landfall. But Tampa, St. Petersburg area, it is pouring, and it's going to stay pouring. It may rain like this for the next 6 to 8 hours. That's how you may end up getting a foot of rain. So the latest from the Hurricane Center, it's still a Category 3. The sheer upper-level winds did its job to weaken the wind field a little bit. That's why we're now saying max storm surge 13 feet instead of, say, 15 feet, because now we're down to about 120. We'd like to knock the wind down even more, because as this moves over the I-4 corridor later on tonight, we still think it's going to have enough punch to knock out power from Tampa all the way to Orlando and possibly here to the Melbourne, Space Coast, Titusville area here, and maybe down to Palm Bay. So this is the wind field. Anywhere in yellow is tropical storm, but this is now the hurricane wind, and it's approaching right where you are, Tom. And the max gust that we have now, Sarasota is about 60, St. Petersburg 66, even to the north here. Look at Brooksville, just had a gust up to 69, Punta Gorda 66. So now we're going to start getting those power outages, and that storm surge, as I mentioned, it's already starting to race in. It's from Sarasota southwards, Venice Beach, the Boca Grande, and then in here towards the Fort Myers area. That's where the most destruction will be. We don't know exactly how high it's going to get, but estimates of at least 10 to 13 feet at its worst. And flash flood warnings are now widespread, and this will be a story as we go through the night with that 12 to 18 inches of rain along that I-4 corridor here, Tampa to Orlando, high risk of flash flooding in those areas. So, Tom, you are about to go into the eye of Milton in the next 2 hours. Your strongest wind gusts will be within the next hour, and then you should start getting into what we call the calm of the storm.
Yeah, Bill, and I want to make sure our viewers know we are in a very secure area right now. We are in a concrete parking lot in Sarasota, very high up. I'm actually looking over my shoulder, and I can see the Ringling Bridge and the bay. But as the sun is setting now and night is coming, this is going to be a nocturnal landfall, Bill, which makes things even more dangerous because you can't make out where that storm surge is. And when those power outages hit, which we know they will, you're not going to be able to see that rising water until it's too late. I do have to ask you, though, about this tornado threat. There were some records set throughout the state of Florida and some incredibly scary images and damage that we've already seen from these tornado touchdowns.
Yeah, so we had the most tornado warnings ever issued in one day in Florida. Our tornado count's now above 17. All of these icons here show you where tornadoes were reported today. The strongest one, it appears, was around Fort Pierce and Vero Beach. It was a wedge tornado. There's a Florida Department of Transportation camera on I-95 that showed the debris. There's a sheriff's station that it's for all the vehicles. That was destroyed. It's laying on top of all the police cruisers right now. We know we have mobile homes that have been destroyed in this region. So these tornadoes have done some significant damage, especially that one near Fort Pierce in Vero Beach. Thankfully, all of those storms that were producing that have now exited off the East Coast. So for the most part, Tom, I think we're well past the worst of our tornado threat. Now our focus is on that destructive storm surge in the eye as it crosses Florida over the next 12 hours.
Yeah, Floridian residents just cannot get a break with Hurricane Milton. Bill, I know you're going to be standing by for us. And as Bill just mentioned, Hurricane Milton's projected to make landfall just south of Tampa. The area is bracing for the possibility of widespread destruction. For the latest on the ground there, I do want to bring in Marissa Parra tonight. Marissa, talk to us about what you're seeing. This is the first time I'm going to be able to see your shot and where you are. I see you have your protective gear on. Talk to us about what you're seeing and what you're hearing.
Hey, Tom. Yeah, hopefully these glasses can protect me from the rain that is clearly just starting to come down. Those wind gusts upwards of 50 miles per hour. We're only expecting that to increase as Milton creeps on closer. Keep an eye on those trees behind me because I think that is the best way you can get a sense of how strong those wind gusts are when they pass through. And this is why. These are the conditions that we're seeing. This is the reason why. We've seen at least 5 different counties saying they are suspending their operations, including Pinellas County, including Sarasota. We knew this was going to happen. They warned us days in advance. And one big threat, Tom, I know you and I have both been doing extensive reporting on the threat that all of those debris piles pose. Because whether or not we see the wind gusts that potentially could have been coming our way with those potential projectiles, those things flying around, it honestly, even if we're not seeing the same wind that we were expecting to see, you have one of those flying around, pieces of wood that could still shatter things like glass, things like windows. And so a lot of questions on just how much more that's going to ramp up the destruction here on the ground, as opposed to if we didn't have all of those debris piles. And so when we talk about the threat that is posed here, another thing that we're keeping a close eye on are those cranes. There's tall, powerful cranes in St. Petersburg, Florida. So there's residents that are further inland, out of the storm surge zone, out of the flood zone, thinking that they were safe to ride out the storm inside of their homes. And they were told by St. Petersburg to stay away from the windows, to stay out of the corners of their homes, because if those cranes come toppling down, that could, of course, pose a massive safety risk. And they're only able to withstand 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So this is something that we're keeping an eye on. It's comprehensive. I've been hearing from people who evacuated this area after they saw what happened with Helene, and then they went into the areas where we now saw tornadoes touching down. So, Tom, as you have mentioned, we're both seeing, and you just saw a flash of lightning, a really scary night for a lot of Floridians all around the state, Tom.
Yeah, we are seeing the conditions in real time in Tampa, where you are, and Sarasota, where I am, get worse by the second. The wind is picking up here. We're starting to finally feel those hurricane-force winds, which are right around 75 miles per hour. They're just gusts at this point, but they're picking up and they're getting louder and louder. Marissa, you stand by with your crew. Please get to some safety if you can. I do want to bring in an official now, Barbara Tripp, staying in that area. She's with Tampa Fire, and she's the chief and emergency manager. Barbara, talk to me about what you're seeing so far on your radar and what you're hearing from your teams. I know you guys have pulled your teams out of harm's way, but what are you hearing from the teams in the field?
Basically, the roads are clear. Good thing we don't have a lot of traffic out there, but the wind has definitely picked up. We're actually seeing some residents without power, certain areas without power. So we knew when Milton come, it was going to present a lot of wind and it was going to be some power outage.
Yeah. So you're saying that your teams are off the field. It's just, I should say, your teams are off the roads. It's still too dangerous for them to get out there. You think people heeded the warnings? We just heard from our meteorologist that storm surge, at least right now, it may change, but it may not be as big of a factor as we feared for Tampa Bay. But there's still so many other things you had to worry about, the debris piles being one of them.
So basically, we've been preparing for Hurricane Milton. We have a lot of resources here staged in the city of Tampa that's prepared to help the community. We have been pushing message out. We've been doing door-to-door, knocking on residents that's in the evacuation zone to make sure they evacuate. We have opened up multiple shelters throughout the city of Tampa, as well as Hillsborough County. And to be honest with you, the community is definitely heeding to the warning. And we know from Hurricane Helene, it presented some challenges here in the city of Tampa. With that, we actually have cleaned up a lot of debris, and we're still worried about the ones that we're unable to clear up, what kind of damage it's going to do to the city and all the infrastructure around us, but we're prepared.
All right, Barbara Tripp, we thank you for that. I now want to get to Sam Brock, who's live for us in Fort Myers, Florida, south of us here in Sarasota. They may feel the brunt of that storm surge. Sam, tell me what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, let's start there, Tom, because I think the storm surge in this case is the most significant topic of conversation. Naples is already in an area of major flood damage, or at least it's breached levels that would be considered a serious situation. Here, we have the Caloosahatchee River behind me that's already risen to basically ground level. I mean, we were out there earlier tonight, and we're still hours away from what's going to happen by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. That is high tide. Fort Myers Beach, as you were eloquently describing earlier tonight, about 10 miles west of us, and certainly the epicenter of Hurricane Ian a couple of years ago. They are already seeing reports of that water rising to essentially the edge of where businesses are along Times Square, the heartbeat of the area. Water is rising now, and we are very early into this thing. So when you talk about projections of 9 to 13 feet high, if that plays out into reality in these areas 40, 50, 60 miles south of where the eyewall ultimately makes landfall, when that happens, this is the reality people are trying to process right now. The number one concern was always storm surge. It is the very reason that you had 400,000 people just in Lee County, where I am, under mandatory evacuation, Tom. It's because most of those folks are coming from either areas situated directly next to the river here, but more so, those barrier islands, it's just an entire cluster of them. It's not one or two. It's not just Fort Myers Beach and Sanibel Island and Pine Island, Gasparilla Island. There's just so many of them all the way up and down to Sarasota and beyond. And so you think about those places, they're accessible by bridge, but a lot of these bridges and causeways are not that sturdily built or were built dozens of years ago. You'll remember 2 years ago, you could not get onto Sanibel Island for days because the bridge just ruptured. Matt Lachey, which is right near Pine Island, same deal. We were reporting from there years ago as well.
Hey, Sam, Fort Myers initially wasn't on the radar, if you will, right? People were talking about Tampa Bay, Sarasota, Bradenton, other areas, and then suddenly it was, right? Were people there caught off guard, do you think? And was it too late for them to evacuate, or do you think they were able to heed that warning?
Yeah, so they evacuated Fort Myers Beach on, I believe, Sunday, Monday the latest. I think the announcement came out on Sunday, full evacuation by Monday. So I would say credit to the folks running things here in Lee County and specifically Fort Myers Beach. Those evacuations, Tom, happened days in advance of a more finite projection. And we apologize, we're losing some of our power here right now. Days in advance of a more finite projection for where Milton would hit. And so in anticipation of that, they took the necessary steps.
Sam, talk to us about those power outages, because as you were reporting, we had an aerial shot. It looked like we had an aerial shot of Fort Myers. It looks like transformers were exploding. What are you seeing just behind you?
Okay, so that's a great question. We have the street lights going in and out a second ago. All of the lights within the parking complex where I am went off and then came back on again. I don't know if they're on a generator or what the situation is there. And then beyond my shoulder, all the way on the other side of this bridge, we've just been seeing this green light sort of light up the sky. It's way too wide to be a lightning strike. Not exactly clear whether that's a transformer, some sort of building that's projecting this based on conditions, storm conditions there. I don't know, but there's definitely signs that the electrical infrastructure right now could be taking a bit of a hit.
All right, Sam Brock for us. Sam, you and your team stay safe tonight for us. I want to move on to Priscilla Thompson, who's been tracking that tornado outbreak in the central part of this state and also on the East Coast. Priscilla, talk to us about what you're seeing, and that tornado threat really had people on edge all day.
Yeah, Tom, we actually just moved into an area because we are in one of those areas right now that is under a tornado watch. And we're talking about areas across Central Florida under these watches until about 9 o'clock tonight. And we've already seen some of the damage that has been caused in some of these areas. In St. Lucie County, we saw a 10,000-foot metal structure that the sheriff's office used that is just a mess of mangled metal tangled up after a reported tornado tore through that area. We're also hearing reports from folks in Wellington, Florida, that there are several people injured after a tornado tore through there. And so some of the damage is just insane that we're seeing in places like Fort Pierce, where there are trees that have come crashing into homes, some homes that just appear and buildings and structures that just appear completely destroyed as these tornadoes are whipping up in the midst of this hurricane. We're talking about some 14 million people right now that are under these watches. And so it is a dangerous situation. I know Bill Cairns just a short while ago was saying that it appears that the worst of it has passed, but certainly still a concern as these watches remain in effect, and especially given the horrific damage that we've already seen from the tornadoes, not even factoring in the damage that could come from this hurricane. Tom?
Priscilla, talk to me about the emergency warnings. Those tornadoes started popping up, and I know they took some people by surprise. Were you hearing the alerts where you were? Do you know if the people on the East Coast and the central part of the state were getting those warnings as the tornadoes were coming?
Yeah, so I haven't heard any sirens going off here, but we have been getting the emergency management alerts about flood watches and tornado watches and warnings. And so we would hope that people in other parts of the state as well are also getting some sort of alerts to let them know that this is happening, because, this is an area in Orlando that a lot of people evacuated to, thinking that they were going to be safe from the worst of some of this damage. And so to now see that they're under these tornado watches and warnings and to be getting those alerts has certainly got to be terrifying and concerning as we're still bracing for the worst of the storm here. Tom?
All right, Priscilla Thompson for us. Priscilla, we appreciate that. We are now less than a couple of hours away from when we expect this storm to make landfall along the western Florida coast. And Sarasota, where we are live tonight, is in the bullseye with storm surge forecasted to reach as high as 13 feet. Joining us now is the Sheriff of Sarasota County, Kurt Hoffman. Sheriff, thanks so much for joining us on Top Story here. Talk to our viewers about how you've pulled your teams off the roads right now, at least have them in a standby mode, because the conditions just behind me outside here in Sarasota are too dangerous, correct?
That's correct. At about 40, 45 mile an hour, we pulled everybody off the road. That was consistent countywide that we were getting those speeds. We pulled the first responders in, fire, EMS, and my deputies. We've got about 100 cars here at our headquarters hunkered down for the rest of the storm.
You know, Sheriff, I can see the Ringling Bridge from where I am that connects those barrier islands. I'm seeing some cars go back and forth. Do you have any idea who those people might be? I mean, I know they could be police, they could be emergency responders, but they likely aren't, correct?
Well, the Ringling Causeway is controlled by the Sarasota Police Department. So we have assignments for all of those bridges. Some of those are in the city of Venice, some in the city of Sarasota, and then some in unincorporated Sarasota County. So my guess would be that would possibly be the Sarasota Police Department coming off the bridge.
Yeah, it could be. Sheriff, what are your biggest concerns? I know things are just starting to get a little dicey here in Sarasota. What is on your mind tonight?
Yeah, our building here that we're in, the windows are creaking as I'm speaking to you. I'm watching the trees sway back and forth. This storm is really unique in that we are getting rain, we are getting wind, we are getting surge, and we are getting a significant amount of tornadoes across the central part of the state and pretty close to us. So it has all the aspects of previous storms kind of rolled into one. And the wind is certainly ramping up. We can hear it outside, and some of the recorded speeds at the airport here in Sarasota are already over 70 miles an hour.
Sheriff, you know, the big challenge is going to be after this storm, right? Especially if there's that historic storm surge. Are you guys pre-positioned around the county, especially near the coast, if there is that historic storm surge?
Yeah, so we've got a pretty good system here in our critical incident response plan. We work very well with the county EOC, which are just about a half mile down the road from my headquarters right here. I've been there all day in meetings. Most everybody knows everybody. We worked together on these before. We have National Guard assets. We have Florida Guard assets. And then through the Florida Sheriff's Association, we have other sheriff's offices that are not affected are staging for me. So at first light, we'll be out with what we call our first in teams. They'll make the initial analysis, report back here to headquarters what we need in the field. We obviously know we're going to need high water vehicles, boats and things like that. But we'll have the specificity when those first in teams hit the ground with chainsaws and tell us the lay of the land, so to speak.
Okay, Sheriff, we thank you for your time tonight. Please stay safe. I'm sure we'll check back in with you if we need to. Our live coverage of Hurricane Milton continues. We're going to take a live look now at Tampa as Milton's outer bands lash at the very vulnerable city. Serious concerns tonight about massive storm surge there. You see it right here. Sarasota expected to take the brunt of the catastrophic hurricane. We'll speak with one woman riding out the storm with her husband, why she chose to stay. Much more ahead here on Top Story. We are back now live from Sarasota, where Hurricane Milton is set to make landfall in just a few hours. Just behind me here, we're in a protected garage. I want to give you guys an idea of where we are. But behind us here is the coast of Sarasota. Just beyond these buildings and hotels is the bay. There are beaches there. There are oceanfront properties there. All of this area has been evacuated. We're about 5 stories up, so we're okay where we are. But if you focus in on those palm trees, you can see how strong the wind is blowing as we get a really strong wind gust right here. This as Hurricane Milton is slowly inching towards Sarasota. We also have this picture just up, this live camera. We do want to warn you, it's been coming in and out because of the conditions. This is Naples, Florida right now. This is a live look at the pier there. This pier was destroyed during Hurricane Ian, and you can see how high the water is. The storm surge has been coming up since around 6:30 there in Naples, 6:30 Eastern, and you can see how high the water is now. And I got to tell you, you know, we're still maybe 2-3 hours from a landfall, and that water is just going to keep getting higher and higher. Remember, just south of Tampa, that storm surge is going to get pretty intense, and that's what we're watching right now. We, too, in Sarasota, we're south of Tampa as well. The landfall for Hurricane Milton might pass right over us. We're going to know in the next maybe 2 hours, hour and a half exactly where this is. But again, we are coming to you live from an evacuation zone. We are 5 floors up, but again, in a safe space, completely surrounded by concrete. We can hear the wind, we can feel the wind, but we are definitely protected. Joining us now from the Tampa area is NBC nightly news anchor Lester Holt. And Lester, you've been covering a lot of hurricanes over the years for us. Talk to us about what the conditions are there where you are.
Yeah, Tom, sometimes these things play out over days because we were witnessing, of course, the heavy rain, the surge, but only the next day or the day after do you really get appreciation for what it has caused. And I'm sure that'll be the same thing here. I'm glad you mentioned your shelter. I never want people to think we're standing out in the middle of nowhere in these storms. I, too, am under a somewhat of a protective cover. If I step forward a little bit, I can get into shelter within a few seconds. So we have tried to apply our best experience to these things, but we want, of course, to be able to tell and share this story, and it's one that people clearly are taking very serious. I've been to other hurricanes where you can drive around, you'll see people out in front like, I'm not going anywhere, or they've made their mind, they're going to ignore the warnings. This, as you've been reporting, has been very, very different, that people have really gotten the wake-up call from Helene, expecting the worst now from Milton.
Yeah, Lester, one of the new sort of issues with this storm, something that was new to both me and you as people who have covered multiple hurricanes, were these debris piles, right? These residents of Florida had to live back-to-back hurricanes, are now about to witness and experience this second major hurricane, and those debris piles were essentially landmines in front of homes and neighborhoods.
Yeah, I got to say, I looked at a lot of those piles. I was on Treasure Island and some of the areas there in the outer or the barrier islands around Tampa. And you'd see these huge stacks, but you look at them differently. I mean, yes, they're dresser drawers and mattresses and stuff like that, but you're also looking at it thinking, these are lethal weapons. These are things that will be lethal flying through the air if they are picked up. That undoubtedly will happen. Hopefully, the fact that no one is on these islands or everyone is taking shelter, we won't see anyone being injured that way. But it certainly changed the dynamic of this, that the Helene had caused all this damage. People were asked to put things out neatly, their cupboards and anything that got wet or mildewed or mold on it. They did that, but then the city has rushed to try to get this stuff out of there, but they simply ran out of time in most of these places. So there is great concern about what folks will eventually come home to because of those debris piles.
Lester, we think the storm, according to our meteorologist, Bill Cairns, it may hit just south of where you are tonight, you and your team. Talk to me about the conditions you're feeling right now, because the big fear for Tampa, of course, was the storm surge lifting Tampa Bay and essentially putting it into the city and county.
Well, I'd say I've been paying more attention to the rain than I have the wind here. The wind comes and goes as these things usually do, but the rain has been extraordinarily heavy. When I was finishing up nightly news tonight for the East Coast, it was literally pouring on me. I commented about it because it was a lot of rain. Reminded me a little bit of Hurricane Harvey in Houston several years ago, where that thing just dropped rain for days and days and days. But it is the conditions have been changing throughout the evening. We got some heavy rains and some winds, and then you get like moments right now, I barely feel a breeze. That will change, and clearly the tree behind me is taking another reading. But that's the way these things tend to work as they play out and the storm comes ashore.
And Lester, they're expecting mass power outages. We've seen, transformers flickering, if you will. In Fort Myers, we saw some transformer explosions. Where you are right now, are you experiencing anything like that?
No, the place that we're kind of headquartered has a generator. They say they've never had a loss. We'll take them on their word on that. Hopefully that's the case. We're kind of walled in here. Don't have a huge horizon, so I haven't heard any thunder or seen any lightning. But that's going to be, you've seen those maps as well as I have. But there are going to be huge areas without power, and people have been urged throughout the day to keep juicing up their devices, if you will, because at some point you're likely going to lose things, and that those precious little bars on your phone are going to become even more important as you run out of places to charge. So if you still had that opportunity, you're in Florida, just a friendly reminder to charge what you can now.
Lester Holt for us. Lester, I know you and your team are going to be standing by tonight in Tampa. We appreciate all your reporting. While so many people have evacuated ahead of this storm, some residents choosing to ride this one out at home. One of those residents is Heather Morgan. She's in Venice in Sarasota County, not too far from where we are, but not in an evacuation zone. So, Heather, talk to us about your decision to stay put.
Well, it was kind of a difficult decision to make because we were told this is going to be a ginormous storm. However, our evacuation zone was not mentioned. We are in D, and they evacuated A, B, and C. And so once we found out we wouldn't be evacuated, we kind of felt a little bit more safe to stay. We also are located about 8 miles inland. And we don't typically flood where we are. So we're kind of sitting tight and just waiting to see what happens at this point.
Yeah, where we are, and we're obviously right next to the bay where we are, but again, in a safe, protected area. I mean, the wind is howling right now. The rain is nonstop. We're starting to see some lightning. Are you seeing anything like that where you are?
So as I'm sitting in my office right now, the doors are rattling on the inside from the wind on the outside. It's getting really powerful. I'm kind of afraid to step outside on my front porch, to be honest with you, because of debris that might be flying around. But just looking out the window and listening to the shutters rattling is enough to know it's really powerful and it's coming.
You know, you've had to live with back-to-back hurricanes. What's that like, and having to deal with that, and I'm sure maybe dealing with insurance companies after all of this?
I have to be honest with you. We were very much spared from Hurricane Helene, unlike some of the surrounding areas around us. And I know that there was much devastation left in her wake. And we're hoping for the best right now, honestly.
Hey guys, yep, you guys have me? Heather, sorry about that. We're just having some technical issues here because of the storms hitting right now. Heather, you can still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Yeah. Sorry, we're just having some power issues here, but it's all good. Well, that's great that Helene didn't harm your home or your family in any way. I know it probably got in the way of things and just losing another week of work. Do you regret it all not evacuating, or do you think you're going to be fine?
I don't regret it. I really trust the system. I know that there were plans set in place ahead of time to try to get everybody out safely. And us being in the evacuation zone D, I honestly feel that they made a good decision to get those out that are really in the harm's way.
All right, Heather, we thank you. Please stay safe tonight. We want to go to Governor Ron DeSantis, who's holding a news conference right now, a live news conference. He has just said that multiple tornadoes have touched down in Florida. Let's listen in.
As of right now, the peak storm surge looks to be between the Charlotte-Lee County line up until Anna Maria Island in Manatee County. Prior to landfall, the state completed nearly 2,000 missions. Generators were sent to shelters. We have massive amounts of fuel reserves that are staged and ready to go, millions of gallons of gas. When the ports reopen, Florida Highway Patrol will be standing by to escort fuel trucks to service stations so that people will have access to fuel as they return to their homes. The Florida Department of Transportation is staged and ready to go as soon as the storm passes. They have 156 bridge inspectors, which will go to clear the bridges, 402 cut and toss personnel, and over 1,000 generators and 350 pieces of heavy equipment and trucks. We have massive amounts of search and rescue equipment and personnel standing by. And we hope that there's not a big need for that, but we're prepared for that. And that's not just our state and local. It's also our National Guard, our State Guard. We have about 9,000 National Guard personnel between Florida and other states. We also have Florida Highway Patrol, Fish and Wildlife, Department of Law Enforcement, and of course our Florida State Guard. There was a lot of questions about pre-staging linemen, which is our practice here in Florida, given that you have a lot of linemen working for Hurricane Helene in places like Georgia and North Carolina. I'm happy to report that we have over 50,000 linemen that are in the state of Florida. And as soon as it's safe to do so, they will commence with power restoration. We're already seeing power outages. You're going to continue to see a lot more power outages over the course of tonight and into tomorrow morning. Now, at this point, it's too dangerous to evacuate safely, so you have to shelter in place and just hunker down. Category 3 storm for most places in Florida, particularly newer construction, likely the building is going to be able to withstand it. But if you start to get in a situation where trees are snapping, power's popping, you do have to treat it like a tornado. And then if you are in a tornado warning, that's a duck and cover in a place that's safe in your structure. Those can be very, very dangerous, even if you are inside in cover. Stay inside and stay off the roads. Floodwaters and rushing storm surge are very dangerous. And I would say that's even more so in spite of everything the state did to help these local communities hit by Helene remove a lot of debris, and they did move a lot of debris over the last 72 hours. You're going to have new debris created, and you still have some of that old debris in some of those places. So there's going to be hazards in the storm surge and in the flood waters. Stay put until the storm is passed. If you are in Sarasota, Manatee, some of those areas where the eye of the storm is going, it may be where things calm down for a minute. Just understand that means you're in the eye. It's going to go back and get really nasty very soon. So don't go outdoors until it is confirmed safe. You can listen to your local emergency management officials about that one. Power outages are going to happen, as I mentioned. So please, if you're using a generator, make sure that you're using it safely. Do not run the generator inside your home. That can be fatal. Make sure it's outside the home at a safe distance from windows and doorways. If you see dangerous conditions, please report those to your local authorities so that they can help protect people and mitigate it. So the storm is here. It's time for everybody to hunker down. I know we've got massive amounts of resources that have been prepared for this storm. People are tired because of having to deal with Hurricane Helene, and yet all I've seen is people just dig deep inside and say, we're not going to be denied, we're going to get the job done. So I really appreciate everybody that's worked so hard on the heels of Helene to prepare for this storm and to be ready to go. And you will see that in action very shortly as this storm passes. Okay, Kevin Guthrie.
Thank you, Governor, for leading us through this. Appreciate your support. Conditions across the state continue to deteriorate as Hurricane Milton approaches landfall on Florida.
And we've been listening to Governor DeSantis there updating the state of Florida and the country about the situation. Just as Hurricane Milton is approaching landfall, we could be 1 to 2 hours away from that event. We're going to stay live here in Sarasota as Hurricane Milton nears that landfall. We're told the northern eyewall is moving on shore. Southern Florida already reeling from a widespread tornado outbreak. The storm spawning monster twisters. The threat for more tornadoes as the hurricane moves on shore. And taking a live look at Sarasota, winds and rains picking up speed. We're tracking it all. Stay with us. We're back now here live in Sarasota, Florida, as the northern eyewall of Hurricane Milton is now spreading ashore. Conditions here are picking up. You can see the wind and rain behind me. I'm going to step out so you can see a little closely how strong that wind is blowing right now. We are approaching a landfall in the next 1 or 2 hours, but Bill Caron's going to give us a more precise time on that. And I know trying to be precise during hurricane coverage, Bill, is pretty tough. What have you learned over the last 20 or 30 minutes since we last talked to you?
That everything is on schedule for a Sarasota landfall roughly between about 8:30 and 9 p.m. Eastern time. You can clearly see on our radar where the center is located. Here, the black line kind of shows you how it kind of wobbled earlier today a little bit. At one point, it wobbled north, and it worried a lot of us about the Tampa Bay area for the storm surge. But then it resumed its eastward track, so that has spared Tampa Bay from the max storm surge. But now, if we get that landfall here, Sarasota southwards, that's when it's going to be. There's a couple of things that we need to point out. First off, here's where Tom is located here. The center of the storm is 20 to 25 miles away. It's moving at roughly 15 to 12 miles per hour. So that's why we got landfall in the next 1 or 2 hours. The bright reds and pinks show you where the really strong, heavy downpours are. And those are very efficient at taking the strong winds that wrap around the storm and bringing them down to the surface. So we have an extreme wind warning that's been issued that includes Tampa Bay, the St. Petersburg area, and areas just north of Sarasota. Sarasota, this is going to go through what we call the northern portion of the eye. That's where all the torrential rain is, and we've already seen in the last hour an 89-mile-per-hour wind gust in St. Petersburg. So we're going to start getting more wind damage out of this. As far as the storm surge goes, unfortunately, we don't have any gauges to give us information from Port Charlotte, Port Harbor, Punta Gorda, heading up here to Venice and to Sarasota. So notice in Old Port in Tampa, the water level is about 1 to 2 feet lower than it should be because the wind is blowing out. The bay is heading out to sea. But to the south, where the water's piling up, right now in Naples, the water's 4 feet higher than it should. You're in major flood stage. Fort Myers, the water's 3 feet higher than it normally should be. And north of here, I can guarantee you that's where we're going to get that 10 to maybe possibly 12, 13 foot. And notice all the gauges here in the Tampa Bay area are in the negative numbers because the water is heading out to sea, and it's going to stay that way. I do not expect that storm surge in the Tampa Bay area. This 9 to 13 feet is really, I think the picture is tomorrow morning, unfortunately, when the sun comes up and the storm's just about gone from the Venice Beach area to Inglewood. That is likely going to be the location that is going to have the most destruction to the homes, especially on the first floor. As far as other concerns go with the storm, the winds are now picking up, as we said, with that extreme wind warning. We still have tropical storm gusts that are widespread throughout the entire state. 51-mile-per-hour gusts in Sanford right now. St. Petersburg at 75. And what's interesting, if you kind of look at the colors on this map, the pinks, and kind of show you the higher colors, the back side of the storm has a punch to it. We've had a lot of storms lately where the front eye, as it makes landfall, has the strongest winds. With this one, it's actually the back. If you're watching us in, say, the next hour and a half, Tom is going to go into the eye. Then eventually the eye is going to go past, and he's going to get into the back side of the storm. And that's when the highest winds are going to be in the Sarasota area. That's when we could see that 80 to 100-mile-per-hour gust. So here's the eye, and this is where the stronger winds are right now, the back side. And when this kicks in, that's when the storm surge will peak, and that's also when we'll get those power outages to the southern portion of the storm. For all of our friends watching and have interest in areas from Tampa towards I-4, Disney Complex, Universal Studios, into Orlando, say University of Central Florida over to Melbourne, Titusville, down to the Space Coast here to Melbourne. The storm is going to be somewhere near Winter Haven about 2 a.m., closest to Orlando at about 4 a.m. The reason I mention that is that's the best chance you have of losing power in the Orlando area will be between about 1 a.m. and about 6 a.m., and that's also when the most torrential rain will be. But, Tom, I think you guys are going to be surprised. Right now, you're getting some wind gusts out of this. It's not really all that rainy. You're going to get into that quote-unquote calm eye, and then you're going to get slapped on the backside of this storm a lot stronger than a lot of people expect.
Bill, I do want you to remind our viewers, because sometimes people can get confused with the eye wall and how sort of interesting it is. It's almost a weather phenomenon, if you will, right? Yeah. We're going to have these hurricane-force winds that sort of surround us, but in the eye wall, it is actually incredibly calm.
Yeah, so we get the terms like the eye wall. And so I zoom back out to my maps here that show you the close-up of it. So this is the 25 miles, and the eye is considered the center. That's where the calm is, the clear. Sometimes you can see it on satellite imagery. It's all bright clouds, and you see a little spot. That's the eye. The eye wall is what surrounds it. In the eye itself, the winds are usually relatively light. In almost all cases, the strongest winds are on the northeast, north, or even the northwest side of the eye wall that surrounds it. So that's why we have this extreme wind warning up here from Sarasota northwards, Bradenton into Tampa Bay for this. As this moves on shore where my hand is in the next hour, this will be the strongest winds we're going to get. This is when the most wind damage we'll get. And, Tom, I still think that you're not going to be all clear. I would guess maybe about midnight or so is when the worst of the heavy rain and winds will start to subside where you are in Sarasota.
Okay, Bill Carensford. Bill, thank you for walking us through it. I know you're going to be standing by for us through the 11 o'clock hour. We appreciate that. Our special coverage of Hurricane Milton continues. Torrential rains and storm surge already moving on shore. And this is just the beginning. The power outages mounting, more than 300,000 without electricity, and the storm hasn't even made landfall yet. Our reporters in the storm zone, as conditions quickly deteriorate, we're taking a live look at Fort Myers. Stay with us. You're watching a special edition of Top Story, live from Sarasota in the path of Milton. Welcome back to our special coverage of Hurricane Milton as we're getting closer and closer to a landfall, potentially right here in Sarasota, Florida, where we are tonight. We do want to let you know at home we are broadcasting live from a very secure area. We are 5 stories above land and even higher than sea level. And we're also surrounded by concrete in a parking lot off the bay near in Sarasota. The water is not too far from us, but at this point, we don't see the storm surge just yet. I'm looking over this balcony here, and it's still dry on the ground. The hurricane-force wind gusts, though, have begun here in Sarasota. We have been feeling that. We've also been seeing transformers explode, lightning powers coming and going. It is flickering. It is just starting to begin. We're just starting to get a taste of Milton, if you will. The conditions started to worsen here in Sarasota over the last 2 hours, I'd say, and the winds now have been relentless. It's not so much a rain event in Sarasota, as Bill Cairns, our meteorologist, has been telling us, and we're not really even feeling the rain at this point. It's just those hurricane-force wind gusts that are just going to get stronger and stronger. From what we know, we think in about an hour or so, the eye will pass over Sarasota. We'll be right over the eye, right? The eye will surround us. It'll be relatively calm to what you're seeing behind me, right? It'll still be a little bit windy, a little bit of rain, but it will not be sort of the brunt of Hurricane Milton. And then on the backside of that hurricane, we're going to feel those hurricane-force winds north of 100 miles per hour, and that's when the serious damage is going to start. The big unknown right now, the storm surge. How bad will it be in a place like Sarasota? We're going to have to wait and see. South of the eye, it's going to be much worse in places like Fort Myers and Naples and other places like that. Besides the hurricane, Floridians have also been dealing with tornadoes, real tornadoes, and a massive tornado threat. Joining us now is the mayor of Wellington, Florida, who had been dealing with this issue with their residents. Mayor, thank you so much. Michael, I want to make sure I get your name right. Is it Napoleon? Napoleon. Mayor, thanks for joining us. Talk to me about what your day has been like so far.
Well, it started off just getting prepped up for the storm, putting up the shutters and bringing in outdoor equipment. But then, around 4 o'clock, we got the tornado warning, and it literally went right behind my house. I looked out the patio and I saw it going down the street with the debris flying around. And, some of our western neighborhoods got hit pretty hard. It went right down the front of the entrance to my neighborhood. It went down Main Street, Banks Forest Drive. It's affected communities in our western areas called Rustic Ranches, Meadowwood, and Lakeview. We've got a lot of property damage, down trees, down power lines, but we've got our fire rescue and Palm Beach Sheriff's Office out there responding, assessing damage. We have our public works crew out there clearing roads. Because again, the storm hasn't even gotten to us yet. This is just a tornado before, we get the full impact of Milton.
Mayor, when you see the images as we're seeing right now of that massive tornado where you are, what did you think when you first heard the reports and got the calls?
It was shocking. I mean, we've had tornadic activity here before, but this was a really large funnel cloud, and it really did a lot of damage, and it cut through quite a big swath of Wellington. And, we're still out there trying to assess what the damages are. We've got some injuries, and our teams are out there really working hard to try to clear the roads and make sure everyone's safe and sound, because, again, the storm and the rain are still coming.
Mayor, talk to our viewers about the situation Floridians are in right now, right? Homeowners insurance is so expensive. You're dealing with back-to-back hurricanes and now tornadoes. How do residents who love this state, they want to stay in this state, but it's going to be so hard to make ends meet?
It's really, the insurance crisis has really driven a lot of people out of home ownership. I know my personal homeowners insurance went up 45% last year, and it went up again this year. And I know that the cost of home ownership, the insurance crisis is really just crushing a lot of people's pocketbooks. And with storms like this, it's not making it any better. So there's really got to be some kind of national insurance reform so you can spread the risk out over more places than just, those hardest hit. Otherwise, you're going to keep forcing people to spend higher and higher percentages of their salary on insurance.
Mayor, we appreciate you joining our live coverage. I know it's going to be a long night for you and other leaders like you across the state. Again, we thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it, everyone.
Hurricane Milton zeroing in on the west coast of Florida. Our live coverage from Sarasota continues. Here's a live look at St. Pete Beach getting hammered by wind and torrential rains. And the shocking video coming in as the hurricane spawns a widespread tornado outbreak. We're told several people are injured after this twister moved through Wellington. We were just talking about this. Stay with us. We're back now with our special coverage of Hurricane Milton as we're getting closer and closer to landfall here in Sarasota. The lights are flickering. Power may be coming, may be going. It's unclear at this point, but things are getting more and more dangerous for this area. According to the latest track, the eye of Hurricane Milton should pass over where we are in Sarasota right now. That is better news for the people of Tampa Bay. It's not going to be an easy night for them. It's not going to be an easy night for anybody on the Gulf Coast of Florida tonight. But the big fears about that historic storm surge in Tampa Bay, what they called the Black Swan event, we hope does not happen tonight because of the track of the storm. Now, south of us, in other communities, places like Fort Myers and Naples, they are going to have what could be historic storm surge. And it's unclear what Sanibel is going to, I should say, Sarasota is going to look like tonight after this hurricane passes over us. Right now, the winds are picking up. We're feeling hurricane force winds right now. They come in gusts. It's not too bad. The rain has not been that bad. We're going to continue our coverage real soon. Keep it locked right here on News Now. Our special coverage starts right now.
This is a special edition of Top Story, Hurricane Milton. Live from the storm zone, here's Tom Llamas.
Hey, good evening. Our live coverage from Sarasota continues. Hurricane Milton is on its final descent, heading towards Sarasota, where we are. We're already seeing significant impacts, intense winds. Some areas already seeing storm surge, and power outages are mounting. We're also taking power hits here as the northern eyewall moves on shore. This extremely dangerous and catastrophic storm could be one of the worst hurricanes ever on record for this area. And here in Sarasota, the city is bracing for a potential direct hit and likely some of the worst storm surge it's ever seen. We want to take a live look now at Tampa Bay, the eyewall passing over the extremely vulnerable city. And we also want to take another live look where Milton is right now. The storm nearing its landfall. It will make a direct hit as a major hurricane, and its wind field has nearly doubled in size since just 24 hours ago. The latest hurricane forecast cone, the storm is expected to make landfall near or just south of the Tampa Bay area. A nightmare scenario, as this could be the worst storm that city faces in more than a century. Milton will maintain its hurricane strength as it charges across the state. As we've mentioned, the biggest concern is the potentially deadly storm surge. You can see it right here, what it looks like areas like Sarasota, Clearwater, and Tampa could see up to 15 feet of water, easily topping a single-story home. We're already getting reports of rising water in several neighborhoods. The storm also unleashing destructive winds, dangerous flash floods, widespread power outages, and spawning powerful tornadoes. We want to take you out live. This is St. Pete right now getting pounded with torrential rains and violent wind gusts. Just to give you an idea of where St. Pete is, this is south of Tampa. This is right on the Gulf, right on the water here. You can see how strong the wind is there, but it's really the relentless rain. That's the story in the Tampa area where we are. It's the hurricane force winds, and eventually it's going to be the storm surge when we get the backside of that storm. We're about 5 floors up right now. I've been looking over this balcony to see if the water has approached so far. It hasn't, which is a good sign for Sarasota at this point, but it's still very, very early, and we'll get a much better sense once the sun comes up and Hurricane Milton passes over us. But it's going to be a long night for this community. As we were just watching there, Fort Myers, also a very similar situation. You can see the camera shaking as this powerful storm continues to charge on shore. Again, this is Fort Myers. Earlier in the night, we were seeing some transformers explode here. But look, it's going to be a dangerous night. For the winds to be that strong to kind of shake these cameras that are locked into place on buildings, it gives you an idea of the power of this hurricane. And again, it's just getting started. We have so much to get to, but we want to start with meteorologist Bill Cairns, who's been walking us through everything tonight. Bill, talk to us what we can expect over the next hour.
Landfall, it's imminent. We're now about 15 miles with Milton off the coast. Hurricane Center still has it as a Category 3 and a 120-mile-per-hour wind. So we are going to see a major hurricane landfall once again in our country as we go throughout this hour. We have an extreme wind warning to the north. You can see where the eye is located here. Tom, by the way, is located right here in Sarasota and is going to go straight through the middle of the eye of the storm. So hasn't been a lot of rain where Tom is, and even the winds haven't been that strong. He'll go through the calm eye, and then when this backside goes through, that's the strongest wind gust that we'll see there where Tom and his crew are located. Right now, you see this purple and pink up here in the same Tampa Bay from Bradenton northward southwards to St. Petersburg and to Tampa, this is the strongest winds you're going to experience with Milton right now in Tampa Bay over the next hour or two. So here's Sarasota. That's 15 miles away from the eye. It's moving at roughly about 12, 15 miles per hour. That's why we should have landfall by the top of next hour. And by the extreme winds go, we've had gusts, numerous 70 to 90 mile per hour gusts, and those have been occurring from St. Petersburg southwards. Tampa, we've been somewhere between the 50 to 70 mile per hour gusts, but power outages are beginning. I just checked the tidal gauge in Naples because you're closest to your high tide. Your storm surge is now 5 feet. So to give you an idea, so the storm's up here heading for Sarasota. Here's Fort Myers Beach, and Naples all the way down here. So 4 feet is where the water level is compared to normal because they're still approaching high tide. That's why that 5-foot storm only gives it the 4 feet. So the way we look at these numbers is if you were standing there at the beach, the water would be 4 feet higher right now because of Milton than it should be. Now with Ian, the max was like 14 feet. So for Fort Myers, right now you're at 3 feet. It is still going up. Ian, same as Naples. This hasn't stopped yet. Probably the peak will be roughly between 10 p.m. and midnight for the storm surges in Fort Myers and Naples. In areas like Sarasota, southward, especially around Venice and Inglewood, more or less as we go throughout midnight to maybe 2 a.m. will be the peak of your storm surge. All of the water levels in Tampa Bay are negative. You look at Clearwater Beach. It's 3 feet negative because the high winds are blowing that water out to sea. That's why those numbers are lower. So when we showed you this map, we were looking at the Naples area. Max potential was 6 to 9 feet. Right now we have 5 foot, so we'll probably get close to that. So that's kind of an indication of how close we'll come to some of these numbers. We'll see if we get to that 9 to 13 feet. And there's no gauges here. We have reporters on the ground. They have their cameras. They can show us the water off the balconies of some of the hotels. It's in the middle of the night. There's lights, so we'll have some idea of how bad the surge is, but it won't be until the morning, especially for those barrier island beaches when the helicopters get up, and the wind should be light enough early tomorrow that we'll bring you those pictures as soon as we get them in. So that's how people will know for the first time how much the destruction was on the outer beaches. And then as far as we go into tonight and tomorrow, the hurricane force winds are in a kind of small little ball here. Those are coming on shore, but those will track right through central Florida. The highest wind gust now, that's the highest I've seen right there. Sarasota just had a gust not far from Tom at 93 miles per hour. St. Petersburg is at 77. So it looks like the winds will max out close to 100 with some of these gusts, and that's very typical with these storms. And here's a path of the storm, and I just want to show people in central Florida that this storm will take that turn from Winter Haven just south of Orlando, heading by the Space Coast, Titusville to Melbourne, and this will be during the middle of the night. By the time we get to 2 p.m., I'll move all the way over here, this storm's gone. So this storm is off the Space Coast, Tom, by about, I'd say, 11 a.m. in the morning. We won't even be talking about what's left of this storm. It'll be exiting and gone. All of the damage is being done now and then over about the next 13 hours.
All right, Bill Cairns, we appreciate that, and it's good to know exactly what's happening, especially where we are. I want to go to Stephanie Goss, just north of us in Tampa. Stephanie, talk to us about what we're seeing there.
Yeah, Tom, you heard Bill just talking about it right there, that the fiercest winds right now are in Tampa, and that's absolutely what we're seeing. They have picked up incredibly just over the last half hour. Torrential rain right now, really unsafe for people to be outside, and there have been emergency warnings to shelter in place. The governor just spoke to the state, also talking to people to be smart, to stay in place, to not go out on the roads. We've been talking about the last few days, not just trees and debris and things coming off of buildings, but of course all of those streets that are lined with the debris from Hurricane Helene. The gusts at this point, definitely hurricane force winds that we are seeing, probably sustained hurricane force winds at time, Tom. This is about as intense as it's going to get, although you look at this and it seems like a nightmare scenario, but it is not as bad as it could have been. As we've been talking about the track of the storm, the real concern about it coming right into Tampa Bay and those surge levels going up to 8, 9, 10 feet. That is not going to happen, and that is a dodged bullet for this area, but certainly where you are, they're right in the target zone, Tom.
Yeah, Stephanie Goss for us. Stephanie, we appreciate all your reporting. Thank you for that live report. You have no idea how much we appreciate it. Sam Brock is joining us live from Fort Myers tonight. And Sam, I'm going to walk our viewers through what's going to happen right now as the eyewall approaches Sarasota. as we get closer to an eye passing over where I am, I'm going to move and I'm going to go downstairs with our team again to a safe area. It's going to take some time for us to do that to make sure that we're safe and everybody's okay to do that. In the meantime, Sam's going to pick up the anchoring job right now. And Sam, you're going to lead our viewers through the next 10 or 15 minutes or so. Talk to us first about what's happening in Fort Myers.
Sure. And let me just say, Tom, and thank you so much for that handoff. In terms of safety, I'm glad you outlined that. We're doing the same thing out here in Fort Myers. We're in a parking garage right now. I'm on the 4th or 5th floor, so storm surge, absolutely not an issue. Very strong structure. We're protected from the winds up here. If you look over my shoulder, you'll see the Calahoochee River over my shoulder. That river, we are expecting at some point to crest. It's at about street level right now, but the wind gusts are what I'm paying closest attention to, because once you get to 45 miles per hour or more of sustained winds, that is when you're seeing local governments decide that they are not going to send their first responders out to try to rescue people. It is the very reason why for days now you've heard governments from Sarasota, where Tom is, all the way down to Lee County, where I am, telling people if you're in a mandatory evacuation zone, you have to leave because no one is coming in after you once it becomes too dangerous. That is the situation we find ourselves in right now when it concerns Sarasota, the city of Petersburg, Pasco County, Manatee County, Charlotte County. All of them right now within the last hour or so have told our desk that they are not sending deputies and first responders into harm's way as the winds have picked up. So let's just start there. As far as what we're seeing on the ground here, beyond just the winds and the surge, we are right now inland. So you have North Fort Myers just on the other side of this river here, and then about 10 miles away, all of these barrier islands that don't just run where we are in terms of this latitude, but all the way up and down the west coast of Florida. When you picture why people want to move here in the first place, that is certainly one of the first things that comes to mind. It's the beautiful beaches, these historic hotels, and I'm thinking about places like Sanibel Island now, hotels that have stood there for decades, if not generations, that were destroyed by Hurricane Ian a couple of years ago. Pine Island, you know, you have Matlacha, which is this small little connective tissue between Fort Myers and Pine Island. The bridge just went out 2 years ago, really just from the storm surge and obviously the wind as well. That's why we're so worried at this point in time about the storm surge. 8 to 12 feet, these places become isolated all of a sudden. And so that's just something to consider as we watch in the coming hours the storm surge continuing to rise. We've already seen that in Naples, for example, it's reached a major flood stage. Fort Myers Beach, which again, about 10 miles out from this way, saw, at least there's pictures and sort of snap photos of that water rising to right where the businesses are, coastline. And that was an hour or two ago. So that has to be in the back of your mind. I want to bring in Liz Alpert right now, who is the mayor of Sarasota, really, literally the center of the storm, the eye of the storm, as it's making landfall pretty much as we speak. Mayor, thank you so much for joining us. Seems like you're in a safe place. I'm very glad to see that. Can you walk us through what are the steps right now that you have to go through when it concerns protecting residents? I know you've evacuated as many as you could the last several days. What are the actions at this exact moment in time?
Well, at this exact moment, there really isn't a lot we can do other than just monitor the situation, wait for the storm to pass, and then get out and assess the damage. We haven't heard from anybody so far that needed an emergency rescue, which tells me people did follow the evacuation orders and get out. I'm not too far from where Tom is in downtown Sarasota, and I'm seeing like the lights on US 41 are out, so some of the power is out in certain parts of the city, but so far so good. And as you said, you know, we're going through the eye now, and the worst of it's going to come later, but for right now we're holding pretty steady.
Mayor, are you getting the impression that many people did heed the warnings, whether it was from Helene or Ian a couple of years prior? Because I'm hearing the same sort of language here in terms of Lee County telling us that they had about 7,000 people show up to their 13 shelters. You know, it went from 1,600 yesterday to almost 7,000 today. Are you seeing a similar response from your population?
Absolutely. People after Helene realized that it really isn't a joke to say there's going to be storm surge. Before that, we heard that all the time, I have to admit myself, but it never happened. Well, this time it happened, and people saw what it could do and took this warning seriously for an even almost twice as large storm surge.
I'm so fascinated to hear you say that, because I do feel like storm fatigue, Mayor, is a real thing. And after Helene, maybe there was the before and after of sort of a new paradigm of what's possible and what's likely when you get these major hurricanes that rapidly, not even rapidly intensify, extreme intensification, 100 miles an hour, basically in 24 hours. Do you think sort of those realities have sunk into the minds of people that could potentially be in vulnerable positions?
Well, at least this soon after another major hurricane event, you know, people didn't have time to forget it and go through other cycles where, you know, it really didn't happen. So, yeah, I think right now, at least for the near future, people will be taking it seriously.
What does tomorrow look like, Mayor? You know, I'm just curious because I can recall during Ian, I spent some time in Sarasota as well. I want to say in the day or two after Ian made landfall, you ended up with like 8 to 10 feet of storm surge rushing through your streets. I know I remember talking to a business owner that I had a particular project with, and he said that, you know, half of his items were ruined. Water breached his store. Do you expect similar stories to unfold tomorrow and in the days to come?
I absolutely do, although since many people lost everything in Helene and it hasn't been, you know, more than a couple of weeks, I suspect, you know, what they were going to lose is already gone. But since this is going to be even higher, there'll be additional people that will lose everything. I did a tour of our St. Armand's Circle retail shops right after Helene, and every business lost all of their inventory. It was heartbreaking. And then it was heartbreaking to see people's lives just out on the curb after that event. So I think we're going to see a lot of the same thing.
I think that's such a perfect way to phrase this. People's lives out on their front door. I mean, you just walk around, you drive around a lot of these neighborhoods after Helene and the debris piles, right? But going back a couple of years ago, mountains of dunes of sand and homes that were 8 to 10 to 12 feet high. We're seeing sort of like a shorter snapshot of that now. Obviously, this is not the same kind of wind event that was, but with all of the debris, it's been so talked about with good reason, because these can become projectiles in strong winds. Right. I mean, are you hearing reports right now, people's lives that you just described flying around left and right, or do you feel like enough groundwork was done in the previous several days to prevent that from happening from your vantage point?
Well, we really worked feverishly to get up as much of that debris as we could before this hurricane. We couldn't operationally get it all, but we got a majority of it. But I haven't heard reports of it flying around, but obviously it's going to be, and, you know, it's inevitable that it will. And then once you have a storm surge, then washing these things around, making them battering rams into buildings. So it's creating and going to create a dangerous situation.
I want to just leave you with this. You know, so many times when you cover storms of this magnitude, you're going to find out that lots of people lose cellular connectivity, and they're reaching out to local authorities like, you know, the city of Sarasota and reporting that they can't find this person or that person. It may just be because they can't reach them via cell phone. We just saw this with Helene, or in some other cases, you know, those folks are not genuinely reachable because tragically they've died or they've moved out and didn't tell anyone that they were leaving the area. Are you expecting similar sorts of steps to unfold here?
Oh, of course. I mean, after every every tragedy like this, that, you know, there are stories of people not being able to get in touch with relatives, friends, and being concerned. And, you know, we're hoping that there is no loss of life and that we all come through this safely. We tell people, you know, to just, you know, stay sheltered once the storm passes, to please not go out in standing water because there could be downed electrical lines, it's contaminated, all sorts of things that could be harmful or dangerous to them. So they need to stay where they are until there's an all clear, basically, that it's safe to go out.
Mayor Liz Alpert, thank you so much for taking time on a night where obviously your resources are strained and your attention right now is on the well-being of all of your residents. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate you having me on.
Okay. I'd like to go now to Dana Griffin, who has been out in Naples, Florida. That's about 30 minutes or so actually south of where I'm standing right now. And Dana's been out there for several days reporting what she sees from the ground there. And Dana, our understanding is there's been some material changes when it comes to storm surge, specifically in Naples. I know you're keeping close tabs on that. What are you seeing there?
Yeah, so Sam, right now, oddly enough, we've seen rain on and off most of the day, but you're not seeing it come down as strong as it was. But we're getting a lot of wind, very windy gusts right now. We have learned that the storm surge has reached 4 feet already in Naples. It's hard to see it from this area because we are much farther inland. But again, the winds are picking up. The Collier County government posted on their Facebook page just moments ago reminding people to stay hunkered down, to not go out on the streets. It is too dangerous, and to avoid flooded areas specifically, especially because this is a dangerous storm and it's more dangerous in the dark. They've already seen some power outages. Our hotel, which is not too far from our location here, lost power momentarily. They have backup generators. They were able to get back up and running. But this is obviously a fluid situation here. And even though we are several miles south of, say, you and other people that are in much dire situations in Sarasota, the impacts are still being felt here. Sam?
Yeah, Dana, can you walk me through anecdotally, like what are people telling you when you were talking to them about their level of concern in the days leading up to Milton? As you said, Naples is 30 minutes south of where we are, and obviously as the wind fields have expanded, the size of the storm has expanded so significantly, really in just 48 hours. What were you hearing from folks on the ground about how they were feeling?
Yeah, just days before this storm hit, they started talking about evacuation warnings and evacuation alerts because they knew that the storm was going to be so serious and so dangerous. We talked to residents who said that they were taking this more seriously than they have in the past. You know, when it comes to hurricane preparedness, you hear people say all the time, oh, you know, back in the day, years and decades, or years ago, decades ago, people would hear hurricane preparedness, and that meant grabbing a case of beer, hunkering down with your friends, but staying put. But because of the impacts of these larger storms that are becoming more impactful, and even just Ian that struck 2 years ago, and although there was not a direct here in Naples, they had some impacts, including the Naples Pier, which was destroyed, half of it washed away, and it has not even been rebuilt 2 years later. They are concerned, and there's a sense of fear and anxiety, especially for communities that are in or along the coast. Those are the evacuation zones that were, or those are the areas that were evacuated just days ago because they are very vulnerable. We saw videos showing just 2 years ago how much storm surge can wipe out homes and wipe out vegetation and wipe out areas that people thought they were safe from. So they were very concerned. You had a lot of anxiety. But on the flip side, Sam, you had tons of surfers on the beach. Every day we were out there this week, we saw more and more people show up. Even today, as tornado warnings were going off, you can see the video. This is the video that my producer, Carmen Gonzalez, shot earlier today. We were at that beach, and we saw surfers in the water. Even a child was out there with what we assume was their parents. So, and I asked, why go out there? Why? And they said, this is a surfer's dream. They do this every time a hurricane is coming. And at the time, we saw lightning. Our phones were going off because of those alerts warning us of a tornado. They said they were going to stay out a couple hours more. We hope they are safe. We hope they've They've reached higher ground. They said they were not evacuating because they were farther inland and they were not as concerned. And hopefully people heeded the warnings to leave. Let's talk about some shelter information. They have space capacity for 4,600 people to reach the shelters. There's about 8 of them here in Collier County, including one special needs shelter that will have a backup generator so that if they were to lose power, people who need special medical devices will be able to be hooked up to those devices. But about 1,900 people are in those shelters, and people are coming through as we speak. Sam?
What a stunning juxtaposition of those surfers who were both receiving emergency alerts at the same time as they were hitting the beach. Dana Griffin, thank you so much for breaking that all down for us as the storm surge there, according to our folks in our weather unit, is approaching 6 feet in Naples. I want to bring in right now the sheriff of Charlotte County, that would be Bill Promo, to talk a little bit about what's going on where you are, Bill. You sort of split the difference between me and Dana. I'm wondering also, Charlotte County, to my understanding, ceased its emergency response services within the last hour and a half. Can you walk me through what calculations go behind that decision and sort of what you're seeing from your vantage point?
Yes, well, usually when the winds reach about 45 miles per hour sustained winds, we start to pull everybody back. But we also get the input from our supervisors and commanders that are out there on the road. So if they deem that the conditions are too unsafe for us to remain out there on the road and start responding to calls, we pull everybody back in. And that's just what we had to do because we had sustained winds that were well over 45 miles an hour. And we're still seeing that now.
Did you realize, I know we were talking about this earlier, Sheriff Prommel, the fact that there might have been the perception among some of these parts of the West Coast, Southwest Florida, that the storm wasn't going to really be as damaging here versus the Tampa Bay area. But at any point, did you let your guard down, or did you feel like folks in Charlotte County were really trying to message and get people evacuated and get them in safe spaces this entire week?
No, I've been through several storms now. I was through Hurricane Charlie back in 2004. I was through Ian just 2 years ago. We had Helene just go by our coast a little while ago. And one of the things, whenever I hear there's a storm going to Tampa, I always brace ourselves here because that's what Ian was supposed to do. That's what Charlie was supposed to do. So our messaging was the same. We were telling people to get out well in advance. But unfortunately, in the beginning, people weren't heeding the call. They felt because some who stayed during Ian, they felt because they made it through Ian that they were going to be fine. They felt because it's going to be up in Tampa that they're going to be fine. I've warned people, ever since Charlie, after Ian, they don't realize how lucky we were. Though they were very strong and damaging storms, all we got in those was wind because we took direct hits. We never got the surge. Well, when Helene came through here a couple weeks ago, and although it was still 180 miles off our coast, we took in substantial flooding, and we've actually had more than 2,000 homes that have been deemed either majorly damaged or destroyed. So I think once people realized that the surge was coming here and it was going to be probably 3 times what Helene was, they started to get out. But we still, unfortunately, have people that have stayed behind. I have barrier islands that people have stayed behind on, so I'm very concerned about them.
Right. We know in Port Charlotte, you're obviously right on the water there, though, not barrier islands, but you are coastal. You talked about the storm surge. Do you see that as the primary driver or potentially as damaging to people's residences as even 120, 130 mile an hour winds?
Yes, I do. That storm surge coming in, it's a wall of water and there's no stopping it. And we don't know how far inland it's going to go. The sad thing is here with Charlotte County, we have a beautiful county, and we have all of our waterways. We have the Mayaca River, we have the Peace River, we have Charlotte Harbor, we have Gasparilla Sound, we have the intercoastal waterways, and of course we got the Gulf of Mexico. So we have a lot of water here, and about 75% of my residents live on or near the water. So they're all within the flood zone. So this is going to be very catastrophic for us.
Sheriff Prommel, real quickly, so sorry, can you tell me one other thing? In terms of communications, as we know, we're going to be losing electricity, telecommunications infrastructure. How do you communicate with folks who need help, and what are you advising them to do?
Well, they just need to be patient. The 911 lines will never go down. Even if we lose communication here within our communication center with the next generation 911, it will go over to the neighboring county that's still up. So we will never lose communication with our people. But, you know, once this storm is over, we already have a search and rescue plan in place. So even if they're unable to communicate with us, we're going to be out there in the neighborhoods. We have a lot of assets here. We have a plan in place. And we're just going to follow that plan, and we will get to everybody.
Sheriff Prummel, we know you're doing your darndest right now and obviously have your folks' best interests in mind, trying to make sure everyone's going to be okay in the days and the weeks to come. Thank you so much for spending this time, especially tonight, giving us a window into what's going on in Charlotte County. We are going to have much more for you on the latest developments here with Hurricane Milton. We're still waiting for half of that eye wall officially to make landfall. More coming up right after this.
I'm Stephanie Gosk in Tampa, Florida, where we continue with our live coverage of Hurricane Milton. And the hurricane, I can tell you, is flexing its strongest muscles right now over the city of Tampa. The winds at hurricane strength. You can see the trees bending over, the rain coming down, torrential rain coming down. We've had at least a half a foot at this point. That could be as much as a foot. We've gotten flash flooding warnings, high wind warnings. Being told in this area, people are being told by the governor and other emergency officials to shelter in place. But here is the remarkable thing about this hurricane. We've just had landfall. The landfall. Waiting for control room is speaking with me. Where was landfall? Was it over Sarasota? We were expecting the eye to go over Sarasota. Siesta Key in Sarasota County has landfall for Hurricane Milton. So this is really the worst of it. In that area, they could get the worst storm surge to the south of there as well. We have Bill Cairns right now with us to update us on the path of the storm and what we're seeing. Bill?
All right, Stephanie. So, yes, we have had confirmation of that landfall near Siesta Key. That was expected as we've gone throughout this storm. Another major hurricane, 120 miles per hour, making landfall on the heels of Helene, obviously. And, of course, in this region of the country, you know, we had Irma a couple of years back. We've had Ian. There's been numerous storms. This one, it went right over the top, and it's making landfall near Sarasota. So the worst of the storm surge is coming in now. It is rushing in. Near Walker Creek, I just saw a report of a river gauge there that it's up 10 feet. Now, we know in Naples, we've had a storm surge of at least 5 feet. So that kind of makes sense. So Naples, we're at 5 feet. And right near landfall, we have a storm surge of 10 feet. So you can kind of do the math in between here. You know, Venice is likely probably around 8 feet. And it hasn't stopped yet. The water is still going to go in with this landfall. We still have this onshore flow on the backside here. It will slowly recede probably after about 10 p.m. or midnight, but the highest water is now, the most destruction is being done now by that storm surge. To the north of landfall, which is Bradenton, all of Tampa Bay, it's a whole different issue. We've got torrential rain. They're now saying from the National Weather Service, the Weather Prediction Center, that catastrophic rainfall rates are going to be over the next 4 to 6 hours. We're getting rainfall of 2 to 3 inches an hour, and they say that could last 4 to 6 hours. You do some quick math, if you're getting 3 inches an hour over 4 hours, that's up to 12 inches of rain, a foot of rain in the next 3 hours in this area in here, which is from St. Petersburg up to Tampa and then along I-4. And this should extend here through Lakeland and towards Orlando later on tonight. So just because Tampa Bay got lucky and did not get that horrific possible storm surge like they are from Sarasota southwards, the rainfall and the wind is causing a lot of issues. So here's the latest with the surge. The water right now in Naples, we're at 4.5, so this is still ticking up. We have not peaked yet. Fort Myers is at 3.6 feet, and this is water, you know, from above where it should be. So in other words, we're still at low tide. We're still coming towards high tide. So even though the surge is 5 feet, the water level is really 4.6 because we haven't hit that peak high tide yet. So that's why the numbers get a little crazy. But as far as no issues at all here with the storm surge in the Bay. So we're already seeing the storm surge. And the other thing is just the winds, Stephanie. We continue to watch that. The strongest and the worst of it is right over Tampa now. We did have a report in the Tampa area of a 96 mile per hour wind gust. That was the strongest that we've had yet. And that's why the power number outages are starting to crank up quickly.
Yeah, you know, Bill, you're watching it. I can tell you that we are feeling it. The wind has just started ripping here in Tampa. And you also talk about those rain totals. It's been already raining here for hours, at times torrential rain. So that will just add up onto what you were talking about. But now this storm, now that it's on shore, spreading across the entire state of Florida, we have people on the east coast of Florida. Chase Kane, NBC's climate reporter, he's there, and they are seeing the effects of this hurricane as well. Chase, what can you tell us? What are you looking at?
Stephanie, the conditions have definitely deteriorated here over the last hour or so. We have pretty consistent tropical storm force winds, but we've been having some gusts that definitely feel stronger than that. You notice that the streets are empty. That's because there is a mandatory curfew in place right now for Volusia County. Also, where we are in Zone A, mandatory evacuations as well. Volusia County officials say they've had roughly 1,000 people or so move into shelters, but hopefully people that were in some of those most at-risk places. We're here kind of in the wind shadow of a hotel, so that's how we're able to safely be out here. But you can see these trees behind me, pretty strong, pretty consistent winds that we've had coming through here, Stephanie. The main concern for this area is over the coming hours, we still haven't gotten the strongest part of the storm, and we also still haven't gotten to high tide. That's around 1:15 this morning, and the forecast is for a 4 or 5 foot storm surge. So if you're adding that on top of high tide, that's when there certainly could be flooding in this area, Stephanie.
Thank you, Chase. Well, you and your team stay safe. We really appreciate it. You know, this is the moment right now. This is the critical moment for Hurricane Milton. And oftentimes when a hurricane hits and it is this strong, the places that are getting hit the hardest are the ones that you actually don't hear from, because the people there have lost their power, they've lost their communication, and sometimes they are dealing with flooding waters. It is those moments that they wanted emergency services wanted to avoid, and they asked people to leave their homes if they could, but not everyone could. They didn't have money, they didn't have enough gas. We're going now to Norma Ray, who is in that situation. Tell us what you're seeing and what you're experiencing.
Well, so far so good. We're kind of in the northeast part of the state, so the worst is yet to get to us.
And tell me a little bit about your decision to stay at home. I think a lot of people looking at the possibility for some very uncomfortable days ahead without power, without gas potentially. Why did you stay?
Well, there was a bit of confusion on the mandatory evacuation order. And by the time that got cleared up yesterday afternoon, the traffic was so bad on I-95 and gas shortages were being reported. And there were no hotels between here and Atlanta. And we just decided to go ahead and ride it out. I'm in a concrete block building, so the building getting hurt. Certainly worried a little bit about flood waters, but we've put up sandbags, and I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things that people don't think a lot about when they think about riding out the storm. They think people are just trying to be like cowboys. That's not necessarily the case with people. They may not be able to find a hotel like yourself. They may not be able to fill up their car with gas. They may just not have the money to be able to do all of those things, and they've got to deal with it. Well, I'm glad you guys are doing okay. Good luck in the days ahead, and you know we're thinking of you.
Thank you very much. We're thinking of all of you.
All right. Take care. We have more live coverage coming up of Hurricane Milton. Please stay tuned.
Welcome back to our special coverage of Hurricane Milton. I'm Tom Llamas, back live with you guys now. It's incredible. We are in the path of Milton. Milton has made landfall just south of us in Siesta Key, but the eye is over Sarasota right now. And if you look up, it looks like a calm night, and that's why people in their trucks have started to come out here. They're doing donuts. In some cases, they're racing each other. This is incredibly dangerous, but they don't care because they know right now that the police aren't out, because when the conditions are dangerous, as they were maybe about 20, 30 minutes ago before the eye passed over us, the police aren't going to be out here because it's too dangerous for them. So people are coming out now. They're acting pretty reckless. They're driving pretty reckless, but it's all part of the game here for people who don't really care that the hurricane's about to hit. Here's the flip side, which they may not know. After the eye passes on the backside of that storm, are the strongest winds of this hurricane. We're still maybe 20 to 30 minutes from that point. But if you were to walk out in Sarasota right now, you wouldn't even know that you were in the eye of a hurricane. There's no rain. There's no wind. It is a weather phenomenon that I've experienced before covering hurricanes. But when you think about the size and the force of Hurricane Milton, and you see there's really nothing happening right now in the eye of the storm, it's pretty incredible. Jesse Kirsch, my colleague, is also reporting from Sarasota. He's maybe about 100 yards from where I am, up on the 4th floor of a parking garage where we've been broadcasting from when it was a little more dangerous. Jesse, it's pretty incredible that right now there's really literally nothing going on in Sarasota except the eye of a massive hurricane passing over us.
Yeah, and Tom, I could hear the engines revving when you were talking about people in the streets. And just to emphasize what you were talking about right there, we've had full palms ripped from these tree limbs, and right now they're barely moving. I mean, look at this, right? And we're just blocks from shore along Sarasota Bay, and this is the scene. But to underscore what you were just saying, it's a false sense of security. We've had some wind gusts, a couple pretty gnarly ones, but nothing too sustained in that space. And actually, I'm going to have our photographer, David, zoom in. You might be able to tell her people driving over the causeway toward the barrier islands right now, which is unfathomable to me. We know that police are not on the streets anymore. And again, this is a false sense of security because we are expecting the worst of what we're going to get here on the backside. And that's not just winds, Tom, right? We're talking about up to 13 feet of storm surge potentially. And we're just blocks from the bay right now. And we've been out on the barrier island around here for the last couple of days, and there was waist-high water line marks on buildings that were hit by Helene less than 2 weeks ago. And we were expecting ahead of this storm, possibly double that storm surge. And we're still looking at the storm surge being well over my head. And the idea that people are heading that way to me right now is eye-popping. But yeah, just again, Tom, total quiet. I don't even think it's misting at this point. I don't know if you're feeling it from where you are, but from where I am, it doesn't even look like there's any rain falling. And if we're quiet, you know, I can hear people from a couple blocks away. I think I just heard a door being closed along a hotel nearby. I mean, that's how quiet it is out here right now.
Yeah, we're outside a hotel, and people at the hotel have obviously gathered outside the lobby to kind of see what is happening. It's one of the most dangerous parts of the storm because people come out during the eye when it's calm, and then they stay here, and then suddenly the winds pick up. But again, you can't stop the people from coming out, right? And they're not going to stop them from coming out because you don't want any kind of confrontation right before the hurricane force winds pick up. Jesse Kirsch, we appreciate all your reporting. Stand by for us. We're going to go to Samantha, who's just outside of Tampa. She's riding out the storm with her family and her infant daughter. Samantha, I know you're not in an evacuation zone. Talk to me about what you're experiencing at your home.
Yeah, right now it's high winds. Our lights have been flickering. I hear rain. I can't see anything. We can't really open our door just because of how strong the winds are. But we're riding it out and we're just hoping for the best.
You know, Samantha, I know you're not in an evacuation zone. Talk to me about the decision not to get out anyway, because, you know, you might be hit with a couple of days of power outages. I know it's complicated to evacuate even with a child.
Yeah, no, I just believe that the resources are out there for the people that are in the evacuation zones or those in mobile homes. I'm in a safe house right now. Our house is hurricane proof, up to category 5 for the windows and the garage and the doors. So that was really important, that we're allowing other people to get the resources that they need. And if we need them, then we'll take advantage of them. Also, gas was so scarce yesterday. The traffic was insane. So getting out for us was just like not the option that I wanted to choose.
Are you guys well stocked with food, baby supplies, everything you need to get by for maybe a few days up to a week?
Yes, absolutely. We prepared like 2 days ago. We have clean water. We have a little generator for the baby to sterilize bottles. We have formula. We have food, non-perishable items. And we also have a great community over here. So if we were to run out of something, there's always somebody that we can walk over to and make sure that we get what we need to make sure everyone is okay and healthy.
And then, Samantha, do you still have power right now? Are you running off a generator, or is there still power in your neighborhood?
We luckily have power, thankfully, but the lights have been flickering for the last hour. So I do anticipate, oh, there it goes. I do anticipate it happening, the power outage to happen any minute.
And then do you guys have a generator, or will you just have to deal with it until the power company can fix it?
We'll most likely have to deal with it until the power company can fix it, but we have a small one that we're going to use like just for the baby and all of her needs.
All right, Samantha McGraw, we'll be thinking about you and your baby tonight. I hope you guys stay safe out there, and I hope your power stays working throughout the night. All right, our continuing coverage of Hurricane Milton will continue live here in Sarasota. We're going to come right back after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back to our special coverage of Hurricane Milton. I'm Tom Llamas, live in Sarasota. The eye over Sarasota right now, and that's why it's so calm where we are. A much different story in Tampa Bay. Marissa Parra joins our coverage live now. Marissa, walk our viewers through what you're seeing and experiencing at this hour.
Hey, Tom, we're seeing some really steady wind gusts. And before I describe for you what we are seeing, keep in mind that we are protected on either side of us are walls so that we are able to stay safe. If I were to walk about 20 feet down this direction, it would be much worse than where we're standing. So as you can see, there is still heavy rain, heavy downpour around me. And then, of course, those wind gusts, which I think those large palm trees behind me are your best indicator of just how strong that is. And this is the reason why Governor Ron DeSantis, within the last hour and a half in a press conference, was saying it is simply too dangerous for people to evacuate. This is the time to hunker down. Even in the time that I've been standing here, we have seen debris flying around in that direction over there. It's, again, the reason why we're not taking precautions. It's the reason why we are seeing first responders, these counties suspending emergency operations. That debris is something that makes Milton slightly unique in the sense that there is so much of it left over from Helene, something that we've both been reporting on. Another thing, we've talked about the evacuations, mandatory zones in this area, Tom. I can tell you they are a ghost town. And in that press conference I was just telling you about, we know there are roughly 100,000 people believed to be in shelters all around the state. We know those shelters are swelling, probably as people started to see conditions like this deteriorate. And here in Hillsborough County, where Tampa is, 6 of the 24 shelters say they are at full capacity. And I will also tell you, Tom, as we are seeing these wind gusts kicking up, pieces of debris like this. I mean, this came from a palm tree. And for those who are aware, these are really, this isn't something that just blows around in the wind. This isn't just, you know, a leaf or a small piece of branch. Those are very sturdy parts of the palm tree. They're blowing around. And we're also starting to see the lights flicker. There are 500,000 people around the state of Florida without power. Of course, we do expect that number to climb throughout the night as Milton continues to make its way through the state of Florida. But we have seen the lights start to flicker around us, Tom. So we'll probably be among those numbers at some point in the night, Tom.
All right, Marissa Parra reporting live for us. Marissa, we appreciate all your reporting. You and your team stay safe tonight. And again, our thanks to you. I want to get over to Bill Cairns right now. Bill, this is incredible where we are. I mean, an absolutely calm moment in Sarasota. It was incredibly chaotic over the last 3 hours. It is now perfectly calm, and we know it's about to get pretty wild maybe in an hour or two. Right, Bill?
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, if people want to look at the map here, so Tom is here and Marissa's here, and this is not that far away from each other. You can do this drive in an hour here from Tampa to Sarasota if you get lucky with the traffic. And that's the difference between being in the northern eye, which Tampa is in Bradenton and all of Tampa Bay, or Sarasota, which is going right through the center of the storm. So pretty incredible stuff, and this rainfall is really problematic. Just to update the power outage numbers, now at 750,000 people without power. The extreme wind warning continues for all areas north of Sarasota with that heavy rain and that wind. That's where we're seeing the gusts. Bradenton, 96-mile-per-hour gusts. So that's why the power is going out so quickly. We've had an unconfirmed report of a storm surge south of Sarasota of 10 feet. Down to Naples, around 5 feet. So that everywhere in between here, you know, roughly about, 5 feet to 10 feet is the range that we're getting. That's what we were expecting, and it looks like it's happening. No problems with storm surge in Tampa Bay. Here's some of our latest wind gusts: 71 in Brooksville. Even Orlando now is up into the 50s. Punta Gorda, 79, now 72. St. Petersburg, just with a gust up to 90. Tampa to 82. So those are the wind gusts that you see Marissa out there in, and she even said she's protected. So that's why we're starting to see, when you get 90-mile-per-hour gusts, you're getting roof damage, shingles are flying, you're getting some trees coming down. That's the sort of damage. We're not going to see, like, houses, totally destroyed. So, Tom, as we go throughout the next 6 hours, we're going to take this storm right through central Florida and all through there, right around I-4. And as far as the max wind go in Orlando, I still think you have a chance of getting gusts up to maybe 80 miles per hour. We're still going to keep this a hurricane through the night south here of Orlando. Orlando from Winter Haven with Sebring, and then eventually off the Space Coast by about 10 a.m. or so. So the storm's going to be in and out. The Florida Peninsula is not too wide. The rainfall is also going to become a huge issue from Tampa to Orlando, Daytona Beach. Flash flood warnings continue through this entire region. The area around Tampa, estimates of already a foot of rain had fallen. And it's not just Tampa. As we go throughout the night, we're going to see this high-risk warning going for Orlando all the way back up here through Daytona Beach. We could see, this is 10 inches, our computers are saying here. So my friends from New Smyrna Beach up to Daytona Beach, Sanford, DeLand, this area here to St. Augustine, Palm Bay, could get significant flash flooding overnight into early tomorrow morning. And then as we go throughout the night, of course, our friends in Orlando. So, Tom, you're going to start to notice that wind beginning to increase out of your northwest. It'll start getting a little breezy, and then quickly, you should have some gusts 60 to maybe 80 miles per hour in roughly about 30 minutes from now.
All right, Bill Cairns, we'll stand by and make sure we're in a safe space for that. I also want to show our viewers this, the storm surge starting to pick up just a little bit. This could be just general flooding from all the rain we experienced, or it could be the beginning of the storm surge. We are seeing that water flow in. It's crazy because it's so dark out here with the power outages, and it's silently creeping up. I want to get to Mayor Kevin Anderson right now. He's the mayor of Fort Myers. He's lost power. Mayor, talk to me about what you're going through tonight.
Well, as you mentioned, just lost power about 5 minutes ago. But so far, it's been relatively calm compared to what we were expecting. The wind's not been as strong. The water is slowly rising and flooding our streets downtown, but we're not quite yet to where we were with Helene.
And then, Mayor, are you surprised about sort of the tornado warnings, the tornado touchdowns, and everything else you had to deal with this massive hurricane? It seems like there were a few surprises.
The tornadoes definitely caught us off guard. We weren't expecting to have so many of them, let alone one. But luckily, they weren't too bad. This storm, for us at least, has not been as bad as we anticipated.
You know, we have the eye right over us here in Sarasota. It's completely calm right now. What's it like in Fort Myers where you are?
We've got a little bit of wind gust and some light rain.
And did people sort of heed the warnings? I know Fort Myers, there were points there where Fort Myers was evacuating the beach. It looked like the storm may be heading a little further north. It then moved a little south. You know, when it kind of goes back and forth like that, you can never be precise on a hurricane. I know sometimes people can think, oh, they're smarter than the hurricane or smarter than the meteorologist. They don't want to get out of town. Did people in Fort Myers sort of listen to all the warnings?
I believe a majority, more than usual anyway, listen this time. You could just see it in downtown where the way the merchants boarded up their businesses where they hadn't done that in the past. So there's thousands of people in their shelters. I believe they have taken our word, our advice, and followed it. You know, I preach from day one of hurricane season. The unpredictable thing about a hurricane is, or the most predictable thing about a hurricane is it's unpredictable.
Mayor, we thank you for your time tonight. Please stay safe. We're going to leave you with this image as I'm going to turn it over to Gotti Schwartz. He's going to pick up some of our live coverage, but we're going to continue with Hurricane Milton. The storm surge has started here in Sarasota. We are in the eye, but the surge has started. That wraps up this hour. Our coverage continues right now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.